Good Monday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gillaway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports live from the Orchard Street studio. And this is episode 17 of our new podcast, Gazette Sports Chat, where we'll get to know participants from various realms of the high school sports world, the student athletes who play the games, the coaches who coach them, and others connected in different ways to the entire experience. We'll introduce you to tonight's guest in just a moment, as soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show, our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. And they are Rickabah's Electric, Payer Apparel, Ted's Bar and Grill, Freedom Financial Wealth Management, The Tire Mart, Team PA AAU Basketball, Tonino's Pizza, American Legion Post 272, Hoffman Ford, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Modern Imprint, Sam Hartley Decking, Crystal Bob at Howard Hanna Real Estate, and Underdog Sports Bar and Grill. Thanks very much to those local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area student athletes. Upcoming on Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, the 30th, we have our postseason preview high school football show. Big deal there. We have Central Dauphin head coach Glenn McNamee joining us, and then a special guest analyst. I'll spill the beans. It's Coach Ford Chapman. He's going to sit in with us too. So we're going to have our regular panel of experts plus Glenn McNamee and Ford Chapman, and we're going to break everything down. We're going to talk about who won the Mid-Penn Conference divisions, individual divisions. Then we'll break down District 3, 1A to 6A, and then go statewide. It is postseason football time. And then every Sunday throughout the remainder of the high school season at 6 o'clock, we do our recap show, our high school football recap show. So anyway, let's get to tonight's show. It's part two of a two-part series we're calling Today's Multi-Sport Student Athlete. We'll examine the commitment required to participate in at least two sports at the high school level in the same school year. While the two-sport athlete is hardly an anomaly, the numbers have been shrinking over the past few decades. We'll ask tonight's guests how they're able to manage overlapping sports seasons, the demands of their studies, and their lives outside of school and sports. In part one, we met three of our area's more accomplished boys multi-sport athletes, Nolan Bazalka of Cumberland Valley, Noah Doy from Camp Hill, and Josh Smith from Mechanicsburg. And tonight we're excited to bring in three girls who represent their schools in at least two sports. They are Trinity's Emma Kostelac-Lauer, my apologies, Emma. Northern York's Anna Lehman, there's the Anna, and Cumberland Valley's Sienna Mans. Ladies, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. And I said I was excited, and I mean that. This is exciting to me because you guys are high-end athletes. I've seen you all play, sitting in bleachers or on, courtside or on the sideline of a field. And so, I've seen you guys on the field, but to have a chance to just kind of see what you're all about and see what you do to prepare yourselves to execute at such a high level is exciting for me. If anybody's watching and doesn't understand, like, why are the numbers dwindling? Why aren't there as many student athletes playing more than one sport in high school? I jotted down just a few, and I don't want to bore people with statistics and data, but some of the reasons are the demands that growing competition brings. A lot of the athletes these days are just a lot more accomplished, and to kind of excel over all the other athletes requires a lot of training and other preparation. Some people use the other sports seasons for those things. There's AAU club travel and academy schedules that interfere with high school schedules, the risk of injury after committing to play at the next level. Some student athletes decide it's not worth the risk. I already have a scholarship in place. I'm going to step away from my second or third sport. And then the increasing emotional and mental health fatigue just due to life in general. And that can be a challenge too. So we were kind of chatting about it before we went on the air here about rest and relaxation and getting away. And we are going to ask the girls about if they do that and how they do, if they do. So Emma, I'm going to start with you. You are a junior at Trinity. Your sports are soccer and basketball, right? Any more than that?
No, that's it.
Okay, well, that's enough. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing anything. Why play multiple sports? Why do you play multiple sports?
I grew up playing both sports, so it kind of just carried on. I love both of them, but I mean, as high school, I mean, I've always wanted to be big and go play multiple sports in high school. I mean, especially at Trinity, just since I was younger.
Right. Okay. And I'm going to ask you the same question. You're a senior.
Yeah.
You play four sports, right?
Yeah.
Man, these people are in for a treat when I tell them what we'll call it your fourth sport. You play soccer. You're in
Yeah.
the District 3 4A semifinals now. You play tomorrow night at Central Dauphin. You play basketball. Had a really successful basketball season last year. Track and field and football, right?
Yes.
You're the place kicker on the football team. Why do you play multiple sports, Anna?
I think it's something I've done as a little kid as well, and I love just seeing like what you can do and just going out there and challenging yourself in different ways because I think it's really freeing and exciting to try new things, and I just love especially basketball and soccer a lot, and then I've just grown a really deep love for track as well, and just exploring what's out there with football too.
What events do you take part in track?
I do the 800 and I do high jump and the 400, like just a bunch. So I'm kind of looking at multis like for college and stuff.
The 400, that's rough, isn't it? I
Yeah.
think that's the true. I did it in middle school, okay, nowhere near at a high level like you, but that's kind of the true middle run. You know,
Yeah.
it's more than a sprint, but not quite a distance, and you kind of have to try to sprint for a whole lap, and that's not easy.
Yeah, it's definitely really mental and hard on your legs and your body, but
Right,
it's fun to compete and see how close you can get to
right.
your PRs and stuff.
And we'll get into the football thing in a little bit. And how about Sienna Mans? I'm going to say this first. You go to a school that there's almost 3,100 students. So
Mhm.
basically, you basically have, and if people understand this, they can do the math. You have as many girls in your school as a normal 6A class school would
Yeah,
have, girls and boys. And I think you started 4 years in basketball and maybe 3 in soccer, or was it 4 in soccer?
4 in soccer
Well,
as well.
all right. I figured if I'm going to be wrong, I'd rather be wrong that way. So
But
4 year starter in basketball and
yeah.
soccer, incredible. I mean, that's just mind blowing. At a school like Cumberland Valley, and that's not to discount anything Anna and Emma have done, but I've watched you play for 4 years. Why do you play multiple sports?
Well, I think that well, starting off, my sisters also played. They started off playing soccer and basketball, and I think that I was gonna play after them. Like, I'm gonna follow in their footsteps, and then I just became more competitive over the time, and both of them were sports that I knew I really wanted to compete in and thought that I could play at a higher level. So I just continued on playing the sports that I love.
I think for the most part, the answer is because it's pretty darn fun to play multiple sport. Like Nolan Bazolka, his answer was because I can't imagine going home from school and just doing nothing. You know, he said I'd rather stay at school and compete in a sport than. And Nolan, of course, is a he's your classmate, Sienna. I don't know if you and Nolan know each other, but
Yeah.
you're the only school that made both of the shows. You Cumberland Valley. Um, so let's move on to training. Okay. Do you guys and let's go to Emma. Do you guys train differently, Emma, for your different sports? Are there different times of the year that you're training one way versus another way other times?
Yeah. During soccer season, it's a little more difficult to train for basketball because it's always the risk of injury. So, I mean, training obviously I you still do, but don't want to do like full contact with some people because the risk of injury while you're in season. But um, I mean, it's pretty easy to balance it out because of how practice is scheduled.
Right. Anna, how about you? You're a four sport athlete, and your sports kind of you use different body parts and there's different endurance involved. So there's probably some different training involved, right?
Yeah, there's definitely separate training, but I would say that the training that I do for each sport translates over to the next one. Like, I think some people don't realize how much I get stronger for another sport when I do like a different sport.
Right.
But yeah, for it kind of works out like with football, it's kind of right after school, and for soccer, we try and have our practices in the evening, so they're intense and under the lights.
So that's like really helpful for my schedule. And I'm able to do it that way. And then I have a lot of resources, like with my dad being the principal, like being able to get in the gym whenever, or like outside of my backyard, like we have a basketball court. So just like having those resources to train at my house and stuff is really convenient for me. So it's not like she said, contact, but still being able to play basketball throughout the fall and stuff like that too.
Now, Anna, was he the soccer coach too? Wasn't there a Lehman that
No.
was a coach? Is that a different
Yeah.
Lehman? Okay.
Yeah, we're not related. Everyone does that.
All right. Well, I do a lot of research, or at least a good amount.
Yeah.
And I saw that there was a coach named Lehman before the current coach, and I thought that maybe. So, okay. Well, we got that cleared up. Did they schedule accordingly to not overlap your soccer and your football games this year? Did they make sure that you had no Friday soccer games?
Normally there's never Friday soccer games.
Okay.
It's just kind of a thing that football is really big in our community, so it's just like everything is kind of revolved around that. So Friday nights are like saved for football, which is really
that makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. How about you, Sienna? What kind of training do you do year round?
Well, soccer season definitely gets me ready for basketball season, just staying in shape, but vice versa, because with like jumping and rebounds and basketball helps me get headers in soccer. And I think that in basketball, I kind of focus more on like my legs and getting them stronger, because it's just different. It's honestly different all around. I just year round have to focus on conditioning and strength training, and we have strength trainers that allow us to do that.
Right.
But they both mutually help each other.
Do you find that you have to kind of get your basketball legs under you? Like, do you have soccer legs now?
For sure, 100%.
Okay. All right, yeah.
The first game back, the first scrimmage back definitely hits you.
Yeah.
Because soccer is more longer distance, little short sprints, but basketball is constantly going. But once you get back into it, you're good.
Yeah, you're using your body parts differently. I mean, they're both kind of like high aerobic, you both require a whole lot of athleticism and endurance, but you kind of use your body parts differently, I guess is the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How about we talked to the boys the other day about kind of the highs and lows. We're going to shift gears kind of away from the multi-sport thing and just talk about some of the back in the 1970s, there was ABC Sports had a show called I forget, but it was ABC Wide World of Sports, and they talked about the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Emma, what are some of the let's start with the agony of defeat so we can talk about the thrill of victory next. What are some of the tougher maybe losses or personal or team at a team level that you've had to endure over the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, there's always those games where your team works so hard but you don't come out with the outcome. I mean, you can feel good about it, but it still hurts deep down because you work so hard to try and get there. But
that's a great answer. I mean, I love that answer because not having the W, not getting the win doesn't always mean you failed. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. If you could walk away and say, look, we were prepared, we executed, they just kind of got us tonight, So great answer. And how about, what are some of what's your biggest win over the last few years? I know you've won a couple district championships. Am I correct there?
Yeah, I've just one soccer.
Just one? Okay. And you're working on another one now.
Yeah.
So was that your biggest victory, that soccer district championship?
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't get to play last year, but
that's right, you didn't. But you still were with your team, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Why you weren't on the field last year. So, man, I hope you guys win another district in soccer for sure. And then, how's the basketball team looking?
We're looking good this year. I mean, we're gonna be fast. I mean, we don't have much hype, but we're working on it.
You got an awesome coach. I know that.
Yeah.
Coach Christie, yeah, she's a wonderful coach. I know she loves her girls and just runs a great program. Anna, how about you? Let's talk about what have been some of your challenges over there. Have you guys had any kind of tough losses that you thought, oh man, that really stunk?
Yeah, I feel like last year was the definition of like how to win, how to lose, and then how to come back from losing. And so last year for me, like I was with the district championship team for my soccer, with the soccer group. And so like learning how to win in such a cool way was super fun. And then with basketball, we made it to the district championship and it actually went into overtime and we ended up losing. And so like that being on the other side of that and knowing like what it was like on the other side was really a pivotal point for me because it was really emotional kind of to see on the other side. And then for track, like once that season started, I just knew like I wanted to win an individual district championship, a district champion, like be a district champion. And so being able to use like the winning in the fall and then the losing in the winter with my basketball team, like that was so pivotal for my own success. And like I still think about that a lot. And just the whole course of last year is like how you can endure through winning and endure through losing to help build you for the next thing.
That's wonderful. How to win, how to lose, and how to come back from losing. And I was at your game against Mechanicsburg, your basketball game last year, and you guys came into that game 21-0.
Yeah.
Riding high, And I was actually broadcasting the game for Linglestown Gazette Sports, and I came walking out, and I just happened to be with a bunch of your fans, and boy, were they ever down. And I said to him, I was kind of uncomfortable. I was like walking beside him. I said, listen, that's a really good team you guys have there. I said, and they're going to be fine. And I meant it, And I was at your game in Susquehanna Township, man. What a barn burner that was.
That was such a good game.
Oh, was that fun?
Yes, it was crazy.
Oh, my God. That gym was completely packed. It was loud. It was hot. That's what high school basketball is all about, that game that night. And then that York Suburban team you guys lost to in overtime was a really good team.
Yeah, that was – we didn't even score that much in the first half. Like, I think both of us were, like, barely double digits. It was really
– yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with a game like that, Some games just kind of go down that path, and that's just the way they are. But it was a great game, and so you had a pretty good sports year last year, huh?
It was really fun.
Yeah, I would say so. How about you, Sienna? What have kind of been some of the tougher moments for you over at Cumberland Valley over the last 3.5 years?
Well, just a few days ago.
Shame on you, Anna.
Yeah. When we lost against Northern, that was probably one of the biggest ones.
I promise I did not set this up that way. Yeah, after this was all in place and I saw you guys were playing, I was like, oh, I wish they both could win,
Yeah.
So that was a kind of a tough loss, huh?
Yeah, that was definitely tough coming like the end or
and your last soccer, your last bit of soccer for your school, at least at this level. How about your highs?
I think one of the highs was definitely Northern when we beat Northern Allegheny in basketball.
Oof.
For I think it was states.
Man.
I think it was that double overtime. Oh, just going back and forth.
Yeah, that's incredible. And those girls can play too, man.
Yeah.
Your coach Bill Wolf, he schedules very tough.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys aren't going to get many breaks playing for Bill Wolf, and it gets you ready though. I mean, he finds the toughest teams, the best teams in the state, and he schedules them. So
yeah.
Do you like that about Coach Wolf?
Yeah, I do. I think it prepares us for the upcoming games and the harder teams that we're going to have to play.
Okay, great answer. Anytime you can beat North Allegheny in anything, they're probably the top sports school in the state. I mean, really, they win so many state championships, boys sports, girls sports. So let's go to. I'll stick with you, Sienna. Let's talk about your coaches first. We were just talking about Bill Wolf. Tell us a little bit about Coach Bill Wolf. I admire him. I think he's great with his girls. He's a winner.
Yeah.
I just really think a whole lot of Coach Wolf. Tell me a little bit about your experience with him.
Well, I'm glad that he saw something in me since freshman year, and he has been a mentor, both him and Gimberling, my soccer coach, both have been mentors for me throughout these whole 4 years, and he cares for the team. He cares for the girls outside of basketball, and he wants us to do the best that we can inside of basketball. So overall, he's a really good person.
Just a nice man too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And how about Coach Gemberling?
Gimberling, he really cares about all of us, both on and off the field. He's always there for us. He makes the best plays, honestly, for practice. He keeps practice fun and hype and entertaining for all of us, and he wants us all to succeed, and he's going to be there whether it's not for soccer anymore, but he'll be at our basketball games,
Right.
our track meets, and
That's
things like that.
so important.
Yeah.
You see a guy like that walk into the gym, and there's a really good chance he's there to watch you, and that has to feel good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you guys just are blessed with good coaches over there. I know Mike Craig, your AD, and he does a great job. So, how about you, Emma? You have two coaches. Your soccer, your Terry Mull is your soccer coach. Tell us a little bit about Coach Mull.
Yeah, Coach Mull, I mean, since freshman year, I feel like I've had a bit of a good connection with her, but especially being injured last year, it kind of grew something between us that like most girls don't have, which is it helped me a lot this season, being able to open up to her and just being able to talk constantly. She's the type of coach that's always going to push you, but make sure that you're doing well on and off the field.
And how about Coach Christy Britton, your basketball coach? She is Trinity to the bone, right? I mean, that's a Trinity girl there, a Trinity woman. She's even out there at the football games taking pictures. She just can't get away, and she's just so dedicated to her school. She went there. She coached under legendary Trinity girls basketball coach. And tell us a little bit about Coach Britton.
Yeah, Coach Christy. I mean, she pushes us constantly on the basketball court, but I mean, the best thing about her is that no matter what, she's always gonna be reaching out to you constantly. I mean, whether it's basketball season or not, supporting you and asking you how you're doing and stuff. And that's just like something that as an athlete, like you look forward to as being coached by, like just having that connection and her reaching out constantly.
Right. And her coach was Harry DeFrank. I just said legendary coach. I don't think I should have said that without mentioning it. It was Harry DeFrank, one of the top girls basketball coaches in this area ever. So we have to touch on four of them here for you, Anna. Okay. Let's start with your soccer coach since it is soccer season, Keith Munschauer.
Yeah. So he's a new head coach this year. He was our assistant last year, and I think he's done such a good job stepping up and trying to keep like the same type of program that we had for years because he's been in the program, and so he's just really supportive in everything and wants the best for us. So I really like him.
Good. How about Coach Lucas Zampelli for basketball?
Yeah. Coach Zamp, it's really nice because he's a teacher too, so I can talk to him all the time. He's super chill and open, but he really wants the best for us as well. And he's newer to the program too. It's 3 years. This will be his third year, so it's just cool to incorporate new things to our basketball program. And we've definitely made history with him as coach. Improving our record and everything like that.
That's amazing. They're both so new, and you guys are having so much success already under them. How about Dave Ramsey, track and field? Is he your events coach too? I know he's the head coach. Is he your coach for the events that you? Well, I guess maybe the running events, right? Not the high jump.
I have like 4 different coaches for track, but he and Paul Hayes are my main coaches, I would say, and they just help push me a lot, and they really feed into my competitive spirit. So it's really fun, and I love going to pen relays and stuff with him.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it's just Mr. Ramsey also I can go talk to him with it whenever because he's a teacher as well. So I really enjoy hanging out with them and them pushing me.
Let me tell you something, Anna. If you've competed in the Penn relays, you've accomplished something in your high school career. I guess you know that, right?
It's not an individual event, but
It doesn't matter. Just stepping foot in that building or in that arena or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, stadium. That's a big deal. What's it feel like just being in there? Is it really cool?
yeah, it is. It's tight. There's just so many people, so many things going on, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just chaotic. But that's the fun part of it is you go out and you run for 58 seconds, less than a minute, and you're just in and out. But it's really cool to be surrounded by high school and then also college and international athletes.
I've never heard it put that way. You put your whole day into 58 seconds
Yeah.
of running. All the preparation, the driving down, the driving back, and what you're there for lasts less than a minute. That's awesome. And then the last coach is Bill Miller, your football coach. How long have you played football?
2 years. So
Okay.
I started my junior year.
Are you is Coach Miller, are you kind of like one of the guys, or you're a you're a gal, I know that, but
Yeah.
does he kind of treat you like one of the guys?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on the circumstance, but he's just been really open to whatever I want to do, and he's just really excited about me, which is helpful when coach wants to, again, like feed into your interests. So
Right.
I love how much he says he trusts me and he trusts my work ethic and my abilities. But yeah, it's really fun. Sometimes my coaches will be like, guys, and then a few seconds later, like, and lady, like just stuff like that. It's just funny.
Right.
But I've had a really good relationship with the football coaches as well.
Wonderful. Great answers, ladies. Very, very. I'm glad I asked that question. How about Sienna, dividing time amongst sports? Do you kind of have to communicate up front with both coaches? In your case, two coaches have to know, where you are and what you're doing with the other sports. They kind of have to share you.
Yeah.
How does that work out?
Well, I let them know ahead of time of my schedules, and it's honestly just communication with them, having a mutual understanding, making sure that they know that sometimes I'm going to have to give my time to soccer, but then other times I'm going to also give my time to basketball. And it's really just a pull between those two. And sometimes it is hard because you're going to have to choose between one of them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's those choices that I've grown to make, and yeah,
that'll help you in life in general too.
Yeah.
Because the rest of your life's going to be that same way, believe me. Just kind of dividing your time up and dedicating certain portions of time to certain things, and so you're getting a jump start on it.
Yeah.
You really are. And how about you, Emma? Same deal. Do you kind of have to stay ahead of it and let the coaches know, what your plans are, or see what they need out of you?
Yeah, it's just making sure that they're comfortable with me training for my other sport. I mean, both of my coaches for high school are very open to each other, which is nice. It allows me to, I don't know, have some more breathing room about it. But
Right. Anna, I'd hate to look at your calendar. That looks a little crazy. Is it hard? Let's just say, is it a challenge to kind of fit everything in? You were talking about first it's the games, the regular season games. You have to be dedicated to that, and then there's practice, of course. But as far as like the seasons overlapping and the training and all that, does it ever get chaotic, or do you stay ahead of it?
Sorry, can you say that one more time? You kind of cut out a little bit.
Okay. Does it ever get chaotic trying to take care of all those things, the games, the practices, the training, multiple sports seasons, or are you able to stay ahead of it?
Yeah, I think what they were saying too, just like communication is key, and just talking to coaches, and also sometimes I let my other players know too, so that I'm not disrespecting them as well. Just be like, hey, like I have this, so if I'm not here, like I still am fully engaged in, like if I'm fully engaged in soccer, but I still have to go to this for football or something. But
I didn't forget about y'all, right?
yeah, communication is really big, but honestly, I just thrive on doing different things because, like, I don't know what else I would do if I didn't. And I think, like, going from one thing to the next is really exciting because you don't get burnt out. And so while you still have to train for each thing, like while other things are going on, it's just super fun to keep your body moving in different ways.
Right. Okay. And Sienna, how about your studies? How about, you're you're a student athlete, and I cover high school sports, and I always refer to girls and boys like you as student athletes. I never lose sight that you're students first. Is it difficult to kind of make studying and learning a priority with everything else you have going on?
Sometimes it's definitely difficult. There's a lot of late nights, but it's time management. You just have to know when you need to put your studies ahead and when you need to tell your coach, like, I kind of need a day off to go and finish this, study for a test and stuff like that. I keep my studies ahead before
Good.
athletics.
Yeah,
but-
that takes courage sometimes to say, "Hey, coach, I got to back off here for a day or a practice or whatever it is because I have a big test," And I'm sure that's not always the easiest thing to do. But when you have coaches like you do, they probably understand, I'd imagine. Emma, how about you? Making sure that your studies are a priority in your life. How does that work out for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's going good. Trinity, I mean, we're a pretty small school, so all the teachers are pretty aware of when things are, so which is nice because they can always see your schedule and kind of help you out with it. And then also, I mean, just time management and being able to know when you have to do something and then you have practice or even after an away game studying on the bus, stuff like
Right.
that.
And just to be clear for the people at home, I mean, these girls probably have some challenging curriculum. I mean, some challenging classes. And, when you're done with school and then practice and you have to eat, I mean, that's the next thing in line, I would think. There's not a whole lot of time left in the day before you go to sleep at night. Is there, Anna?
Yeah, there's really not, but I think keeping your priorities is really important. So I like to make lists, and just checking things off is how I visually can see it in my mind and understand what the next task is. And I just like that part of it, keeping things organized like that. So that's how I manage it.
Is that list, is it like old school, like a piece of paper and a
Yeah.
pen? That's
Yes.
awesome. I love that. That's what I do too. I make lists and my friends like, why don't you just use your phone for that? Or why don't you just put that on your computer or whatever? I say, because I like lists, So that's good stuff. And I'm gonna go with you and Sienna on this question, because you guys are both seniors. Are you in the search for a college or have you committed? I haven't looked that up. Where are you at in that whole process?
Oh, well, for me, I'm in the search for a college. I want to play soccer right now in college, and I'm talking to a few coaches right now. So it's just like trying to get out there. It was like soccer season for them and for like us, but now that it's kind of died down, recruiting can start pick up a little bit.
Right.
So yeah, but I'm talking to a few coaches.
So you fall into undecided, right?
Yeah.
That's great though. Somebody asked me, they're like, well, what? I have a friend that he didn't even know you played soccer. And he used to be basketball coach at Harrisburg High. So she plays soccer and she's very good at it too. And he's like, well, what's her main sport? And this is kind of a huge compliment to you, Sienna. And I go, I really don't know which one it is. I said, she plays them both just as well as the others. So somebody out there is going to get a good soccer player in you. That's for sure at the next level. You bet. How about you, Anna?
Yeah, I am committed. I committed 2 weeks ago. I'm going to James Madison University.
Oh man, that's a good school.
Yeah, for track and field.
So for those at home, there could be kids who end up watching this, or parents that you could maybe help them with along the way. Talk just a little bit about that whole process. I'm sure it wasn't just James Madison.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had a lot of schools interested in you. How did you kind of sift through and dig through everything, and what made you ultimately decide on James Madison?
Yeah. Well, that's a big question. So I'm a first child, so I have 2 younger brothers. So this was the first time my parents and I have gone through something like this. So I really just tried to explore everywhere and every single option that I could. So I started after my sophomore year, which was helpful, just have a big timeline. So I felt really patient and not rushed with anything. And I narrowed it down to a couple schools this summer. There's I had a list of 5 that I was really pursuing and talking to. And this summer, I actually thought I was going to go to Lipscomb University, which it's in Tennessee. It's a big cross country and track school. And so I was pretty set on that for a while. But after I made my official visit at JMU, I just felt like there was such a good opportunity there, and I didn't want to not take it. And so I just felt like because of the resources and the coaches and just everyone just says it's a very good school, I just felt kind of called to that, even though I'd been set on going to Lipscomb for a little bit. So it was really hard decision because I had a deadline to make that choice. But just kind of praying about it and just working through every day is like so important for me. And now that I like decided and I'm committed there, it just feels really good to have a weight off my shoulders and just enjoy the process of my fall sports and looking towards college as well.
That has to be a big relief. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
I ask like most of the kids that I interview the same question, and most of the time it's either I couldn't really tell you, it just felt right. It just felt like the place or the school, and the other ones are once I stepped foot on that campus, I knew. They seem to be the two. And Emma, I'm not trying to put any pressure on you here at all, but you're a junior. But are you starting to think about playing something at the next level?
Yeah, I've been doing a little bit of stuff with basketball. I think I want to play basketball.
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay, and I'm going to stop there. I want you to be able to kind of live your life and not worry about. They have to worry about this stuff because it's kind of getting close. No pressures yet. I don't mean it that way, but yeah. But you still have a little bit of time to kind of relax and have fun. Let's go to Emma. I want to stick with you. And you mentioned it first. You had an injury. Was it an ACL?
Yeah, I tore my ACL and my meniscus.
So that was kind of a blowout, a pretty bad one. How long did it keep you down?
About 11 months.
Yeah, that's not an easy recovery, especially when you do it right. You don't want to cheat it. You don't want to cheat your recovery. You kind of want to carry it through to the end and come back when you're ready. What'd you do to keep your spirits up throughout that?
I mean, the people around me, it honestly really helped. Being on the sidelines for both seasons, it was definitely really difficult. But my teammates, they were the people that kept me sane. But my coaches also, they had so many tasks for me, and my family definitely.
How does it feel now?
Great.
Probably feels really strong, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you worked it out. Like I've seen some injuries before, and I know usually you're going to recover the physical part of it, but it's just disheartening, and you got to keep your spirits up and surround yourself with loved ones who care and support you. And I'm just glad that you got through to the other side. There's a kid by the name of Kevin Brown. He's a really high end football player at Harrisburg High. He's going to Penn State. He's a junior over there, and he's out right now with an injury, a foot injury, I think. He's like the team's water boy. Literally, he goes out on the field during timeouts and he's spraying water in his teammates' mouths. And I'm like, that is a teammate. And that's a guy that wants to work through this, and stay around his guys, like you said, Emma, staying around your girls. And so I'm just really glad that you're back and healthy and that you're enjoying a great soccer season here. Anna. This is an Anna question. I can't ask the other two this. Let's talk football because I find it very, very interesting, very intriguing. I know you're not the first girl that played football, but there's not many, and you know that.
Yeah.
You had a game-winning field goal. At least it was in the fourth quarter against Waynesboro to win the game 30-27. And I'm going to ask you. I had a kid by the name of you know who Matthew Parker is by any chance? He's a kicker and punter down at Central York, and he's committed. He's committed to Penn State. He's a senior. He's going off to Penn State next year. And the one thing I asked him about, and it's probably maybe a little different for every kicker. How do you deal with the nerves of that? Okay, you got to what's going on because the game's unfolding in front of you. Then you got to kind of run out in the field, right? Everybody's watching you. Just so you know, under those circumstances. Everybody's watching Anna Lehman run out in the field for this kick. What's going on between your ears? What are you thinking about?
Yeah. For one, I feel like doing different sports has allowed me to be in those types of situations before. So like whether you're on the foul line or something, like I've been in those situations before where you have to perform at a high level and on the spot kind of. But I think also I go back to like Kobe Bryant, one of his quotes is like preparation, confidence comes from preparation. So just like knowing when you kick field goals, it's the same motion like every single time. And that practice and like the motion is like the muscle memory. You just know, like you have to go out and just do the same thing.
Yeah, you can't do anything differently, or you can't do the smallest thing wrong and still make a field goal. It's
Yeah.
kind of has to be the same motion, the same follow through. And I think it's important to note too, you're not your team's kicker in football because anybody's doing you a favor. You know, I know because I watch. Admittedly, I watch Powder Puff sometimes, and man, some of those soccer players, they're kicking 35, 45-yard. They have extra points. You get more points for kicking it from.
Oh, okay.
And I'm telling you, I've seen 45-yarders go, 20 feet above the crossbar and straight in the middle. So is this something that you just picked up recently, or had you been kicking earlier in your life?
Yeah, so I've always loved football. Just like watching with my dad and my brothers. And I had tried it before, like on the football field and just for fun. But then my sophomore year, our kicker graduated and he was pretty good. And so they sent it out to the boys soccer team. And some of the boys like knew I had joked about like kicking before just like as a fun joke, and they actually sent it to me and like, wait, you could actually do this. And so it was kind of just like this moment of like, why not just try it, because if you don't try it you'll never know. So I just kind of went for it.
That's freaking awesome. I love that. I saw a picture of you with your helmet on, and I just thought, what a bad ass. What I try not to swear on my show, but what a badass. That you're playing all these other sports and then you're going out there. And I guess the last football related question: have you ever had to like go like head to head with any like big dude, some 190-pound guy, and have you ever had to make any tackles or any blocks or anything like that?
No, there was a couple of times that like one of the times they blocked it and I thought that they could continue like carrying the ball across the field, so I almost went up for a tackle, but everyone said no, you can stop, and I ready and everything.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah, I always say though, like if I didn't play more sports, I would definitely like to try to see if I could compete on the field.
Right.
Rather than just sticking to kicker, because I don't want to get hurt for my primary sports. But yeah.
Correct. Well, that's awesome. I'm so glad that you play football. How about let's go back up to Sienna. Talk about the commitment from your parents. And I'm not talking about this year and just high school. I'm talking about you probably started playing sports as a 6 to 8-year-old girl, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
Maybe 5. I don't know. So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
What are your parents' roles in your competing in sports? I'm sure they're pretty significant, right?
Yeah, they're my biggest supporters on and off the sidelines. They taking me to every game. I mean, I just had a scrimmage in Virginia, and yet my mom's still right there driving me all the way there and all the way back, all in a day's work. They're always there supporting me, just being there in general, and it does a lot for a person, for your child. It means more than what people may think or what they know, and just having someone who you can lean on and rely on, it does a lot for someone.
Yeah, and you mentioned more than people might know, more than they might understand. And what I think a lot of people don't understand is, you probably play, I don't know, some kind of AAU or like a club soccer. It's not just what you're doing at school. And and especially this kind of ties into the multi-sport thing, that it's not like they just have to go hard for 3 months and then like their job's done for the year. It's pretty much year round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Emma, how about you and the support you get from your family, your parents? Oh, Emma, is your mother Susan?
No, that's my grandma.
That's your grandmother. She made a comment here. She said, "I am so proud of our Emma. She fought hard to work through her injury." So.
Yeah. I mean, I always have
So let's talk about her too. Okay, we're talking about parents. How about parents and your grandmother?
Yeah, I mean, my parents obviously are my number one supporters, always. But my extended family, my close family, they're always. I mean, I always have large crowds. I'm known for having large crowds of family there, and it's always nice to look up in the stands and see them and know that they're supporting me.
The Emma mob, right? That's awesome. Anna, how about you? The significance and importance of your parents in your life throughout all your athletic endeavors.
Yeah, I think my dad has been really important because he's really big in basketball and just loves that. And he challenges me a lot and is the one to push me to get in the weight room with me and stuff. So that's been really helpful. And I just love that part about it. And I'm so grateful for him, but also for my mom who will support me through everything. And like both of them being open to let me try and like random stuff like football, but also pushing me in the sports that I do have potential at, and it's been really helpful for me.
Okay, great. How about this is kind of the last real relevant or important question. How do you guys rest? We briefly talked about it before we went on the air. You have to get away sometimes. What kind of activities do you enjoy outside of sports and school? Sienna.
Well, I do love my sleep. I I need to get a lot of it, and whether that's going to bed at 7 p.m. sometimes, that's just gonna have to happen. But I do like going out and doing other hobbies like pickleball or something on my off days. I'll go out, just hang out with my friends, and then I also, this is a little related to school, but I do something called Golden Years, and it's honestly really fun because I get to go and hang out at a senior living place and
Wonderful.
play games with them, and yeah, that, I mean, if it fills my day, honestly.
So sleep, pickleball, and helping out in the community.
Yeah.
That's a full schedule of getting away from sports and school. Pickleball. I've spoken to that's supposed to be like an old person's sport, I've talked to so many kids over the last like year or two, and they're playing pickleball. Is it a lot of fun?
It is. It's very competitive too.
Right. Emma, how about you? You ever play pickleball?
Yeah, I play pickleball pretty often too.
Oh my goodness. But okay, other than pickleball, what do you do to get away from everything else?
Hang out with a lot of friends. I mean, in my neighborhood, there's a lot of kids my age, which is nice. I mean,
Yeah.
they always hang out, but definitely sleep. Sleep's a really big one.
It's important too. It's really important. Your body needs to rest. Anna, how about you? With what little time you probably have left?
Yeah, I try and hang out with my friends and family a lot, and I like to read a lot when we're not reading books for school. So I like that. And I think like honestly, going from sport to sport like rests my mind so I don't get burnout from like only one sport. So I just think that part is really fun, but definitely resting your body is really important. So I like to do like ice baths a lot and different stuff like eating well and sleeping well too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mentioned earlier to Sienna about not being able to tell what her best sport is, and I feel the same way about you two, Emma and Anna. I mean, that's why you're here with us tonight. I mean, you step on the soccer field or the basketball court, you guys are going to execute at pretty much the same level, and that's just mind blowing, because most kids have a hard time playing one sport at that level, and I just my hat is off to you guys that you're able to do that. So let's just say Emma, Boiling Springs tomorrow night in the 2A soccer semifinals, right?
Yep.
And then upcoming after you get through soccer, let's hope the soccer season lasts for a while yet. But then you'll be able to step on the basketball court for Coach Christie. Anna, you're at Central Dauphin tomorrow night for your district semifinal game. Football's done, right?
Yeah, we're done.
Done forever, right?
Yeah.
Unless you find somebody that needs a kicker somewhere down the line. But that's awesome, though. I'm glad that I had a chance to interview a girl kicker. I love that. But good luck tomorrow night at Central Dauphin.
Yeah.
And then with your basketball and track and field seasons.
Thank you.
Sienna, you're welcome. Sienna, soccer's over for you. Basketball up next. You said you're just going to take a quick breather, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not going to last too long, but best of luck. Again, I've watched you play for 3 full years now. This will be the 4th year, and we chatted briefly before we on the air about the great game you had against Central Dauphin last year, and it's going to be a throwdown again. I think you against Central Dauphin again this year. That Mid-Penn Commonwealth Division, you don't get much of a break there, do you?
Not at all.
Yeah, you guys are back. I think the 4 teams, and I hope nobody's watching from any of the other teams, but Cumberland Valley, Central Dauphin, Altoona, and State College. That's going to be a good time watching that all play out. So, before we move on to the last thing we're going to do tonight, I want to get all 3 of your T-shirt sizes. One of my sponsors is Payor Apparel, and they do like sportswear, and I'm going to get you each T-shirts. Emma, what size are you?
Adult small.
Adult. That's a men's small, right?
Yeah.
Okay, they're men's sizes. Anna?
A men's small, please.
Okay, and Sienna?
I'll do the same, please.
All right. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do here is what we call keeping it light. Does anybody know what keeping it light is? Good. All right, that's what I always say. Okay, I'm going to ask you guys questions that have nothing to do with being an athlete, nothing to do with multi-sport athletes, nothing to do with your classroom stuff or any of that. These are just questions about who you are outside of all that stuff, and kind of get a chance to let us get to know you a little better here. I'll just ask you a couple questions each, and let's start with Sienna. All-time favorite athlete, any sport, any level.
Man,
or
probably
a favorite athlete if you can't think of one.
Probably LeBron James. I feel like that's just, but since I was younger, that's just that's the go-to.
I'm with you there. There's not many chinks in that guy's armor, is there? He's just on and off the court. I mean, what a great guy. He's great in the community, and yeah, that's a great choice. Let's go to Emma. Do you have a favorite meal? Let's just say it's your birthday, mom wants to cook, or they want to take you out for dinner. What's that meal that you're going to get?
Pasta.
Any particular sauce on that, or?
I like plain pasta, just butter noodles.
I like that too. A little salt and pepper. Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, people don't realize how good that is. I'm with you there. Anna, let's see. What do we have for you? Okay, this is going to be the question that nobody likes to get. Okay. Oh. I don't know why I'm targeting you with this, but favorite book. Do you have a favorite book?
I just like too many books. I don't have a favorite, but I like fantasy, or like dystopian fiction.
Great answer. Yeah, I jam people up with that one. I never thought it was going to be that difficult. Like, even when I talk to coaches and I ask coaches, guys or women that are in their 40s, they might have a master's degree and they can't come up with a book, so that's a great answer. Sienna, how about favorite dessert?
Ice cream. I love ice cream.
All right. And how about favorite candy?
Oh, Mike and Ike's.
Okay. That's a little different than most. Yeah, they're good though. That's movie candy. You know that, yeah. Right? That's kind of all right. Emma, you have a favorite restaurant? No, I already asked you about food. Let's switch gears. All-time favorite sports team?
The Golden State Warriors.
Okay, and I'm going to ask why, even though I have an idea. Why?
I mean, when I used to watch them, they were pretty successful. KD, Steph Curry. I mean,
right. Yeah. That was a team there for sure. And I don't think some people realize what they're seeing with Steph Curry.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been around a while. I'm pretty old. I've been watching NBA basketball for decades and decades, and there haven't been many as good as Steph Curry. That's for sure. Okay, so one last question. I gave Anna the tough one last time, so I'm going to give you the one that people kind of like a little bit. Favorite Girl Scout cookie? Do you have one?
No.
You're not a Girl Scout cookie person? No. That's kind of an old school thing. I don't know why I asked you that one. Yeah. Thin Mints is always the go-to answer for that, though. Just so you know. Favorite restaurant? Do you have a local restaurant that you like to go to?
Honestly, we don't have many restaurants in Dillsburg, but I love Olive Garden, so like pasta stuff too.
Okay. Do you ever go to Baker's?
Yeah, yeah.
They're friends of mine. I used to sell them food.
Oh,
I think they do a great job. I think it's it's kind of a diner, but it's an upscale diner. I think it's a beautiful restaurant.
that's definitely the best one around.
Yeah, I think so too. Okay. Great job with keeping it light. We got your t-shirt sizes. And now let's do one round of shout out. Sienna, is anybody watching, or they may watch later on tonight or tomorrow? You want to shout out?
My parents, family, friends, Tyrese, from RPN Factory. Yeah, mostly. My coaches.
Man, that was a heavy duty shout out there. You covered a lot of ground. Emma, how about you?
My parents, my grandparents.
Okay, Anna.
My parents and my family, as well as my coaches, and then every single one of my teammates. So I just think that is really cool to connect with so many different people. So I just appreciate all the people on my sports teams.
That is really cool. Okay, so thank you once again. I really appreciate it. Sienna Mans from Cumberland Valley, Anna Lehman from Northern York, Emma Kostelac-Lauer from Trinity. These are our girls multi-sport athletes. We got a chance to talk about the multi-sport thing a lot tonight, and some other things that really had little to do with being a multi-sport athlete. So the girls that are playing soccer still, Anna and Emma, wish you luck tomorrow night. Sienna, get a little bit of rest, get ready for basketball. Let me just run through the sponsors here before we let you go. Rickabaz Electric, Payer Apparel, Ted's Bar and Grill, Freedom Financial Wealth Management, The Tire Mart, Team PA AAU Basketball, Tonino's Pizza, American Legion Post 272, Hoffman Ford, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Modern Imprint, Sam Hartley Decking, Crystal Bob at Howard Hanna Real Estate, and Underdog Sports Bar and Grill. Thanks to all those great local businesses. Ladies, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. And thanks for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You
Yeah.
too.